together for the next round of conversation that we're going to have with them. Thank you.
The conversation. अपना सरवना बेतून हर आनंद होता है. Because the secret has been disclosed by the Commissioner of Police Intelligence. Report has been perfect. My daughter-in-law indeed belongs to this place, and we're very proud of the Maharashtra connection.
Thank you. Talk to them first. Thank you, everybody. I am so happy being here in front of all you real heroes. And a real hero come here and he gets an opportunity to talk to a real hero here. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone and thank you very much, Vijayji, for giving me this chance. I must tell you, when I came to know about him and when I read about him, and you will not believe it, on my phone his name is written as Legend Vijay Kumarji. So that is how that's the kind of respect I have for him. I've actually, while coming back in the car, sir, I had some few questions which I wanted to ask you. This operation was called Operation Cocoon, right? So why Cocoon? Why you could have had Operation Tall Man or an Operation Big Mustache, something.
Actually, the whole operation was done in silos. A, B will know what they are doing, but the C and D will not know what these guys are doing. So the innermost core was me and Sandamare Kannan. Very often the code names were just picked up at random, just off the sleeve without any even premeditation. So Cocoon, before that we had an operation called Inundation, where we flooded this area with our troops. Small teams were injected into that area to terrify him, and he was living in a cave, eating only eggs and water and eggs, nothing else. High protein diet I have mentioned. And that cave was highly impregnable, much worse and much sinister than the caves I have seen in Kashmir and other places. So the word inundation was just taken like that. Initially, like you said, we had this big, something like a big mustache came to our mind. But cocoon, we said, normally what happens, the butterfly goes to freedom, bursting the cocoon. Sometimes we use the word cocoon to say cocoon or cloistered, sequestered, or isolated. So in that sense, it just occurred and we said, Kannan, let it call as cocoon. So vehicle itself was called cocoon. That is the origin of this.
I'd like to also know, like in my house, my wife is a writer, and I am a fighter who fights on screen, and you are both of that, writer and a fighter. So, but there's always a fight. My job is very tough. She says her job is very tough. So, will you just tell us which job, fighter or a writer?
First of all, I am an admirer of your wife's writing. Please compliment her. I have not met with her in person, and I have been very, very beautiful, lovely humor, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Now, between these two, I am like a shoulder-fired missile. I mean, people think that I am a big guy, but I have been fired from the shoulders of my guys. When I was a cop, all the junior cops fired me, and I used to be sitting on the shoulders. As a writer, again, people like Kapish, Vikas Singh, who was my partner, then all the Sharwani, and then you had Amrita, then you had Yamini and people like that. So I got a here also. So I continue to play the same role, delegating, getting things done and pushing. Both are equally matching.
But you have to pick one because मेरे घर में बड़ी problem चल रही है. I'm saying my job is very hard.
So now that I can no more be a real fighter because uniform has been taken away from me on 30th of September 2012, I can't don the uniform. Still I am retaining some of them. Hoping sometime the age will go to like US Supreme Court judges have no age. You can die in office. Hoping that some order, something may come some other time. I'm holding on. There won't be. If in this present phase, I am a writer. But I'm a fighter. I mean, writer who is fighting to be a writer. It can be that way. My struggle is very protracted. Writing is not an easy thing. I was a very lazy writer. I am okay as a reader, more of a plodder. I read slowly, steadily, 25 pages. And if I touch a book, if I like it, for example, Raghu Karnad, he's here, famous writer. Father's Fields, when he wrote the book, he's sitting here. Can I ask Raghu Karnad, where are you? Raghu. So when I read books like that one word you mentioned, that people die twice. One, they actually die, and second time when the people who have the memory of the man who died also died. So these kind of things touch me. Very good expression, turn of phrase, good emotions represented well. I keep picking up the ideas. And even in the middle of the night, I just wake up and note down in a slip of paper. And I went on collecting a whole lot. And finally, it helped me to condense it and a lot of other support. So to your question, my answer has been that now I'm a fighter in the form of a writer.
Sir, I was just, as Sir was saying that I should do a movie on it, what would you like me to play? You, or should I play him?
You can easily do both the roles.
I can't do a double role in this.
Now, with the kind of cinematic help you got, I think you will be equally good, because he was very sprightly, very spindly, very thin, like a Maratha soldier. There was not an inch of flab on him like you.
Yeah, he was very athletic.
Absolutely. Right? He was 52, and the guy who did the postmortem, he has done about 10,000 postmortems. Postmortem is autopsy.
Right, sir.
So he picked out his body and took it out, and then he called me, Vallinayagam doctor. I distinctly remember him telling, you told me he's 52, but he's not more than 25. But for his eyes. His heart condition was fantastic. His liver and other parameters were beautiful, and the whole systems were functioning so well, except for the cataract. He is a perfectly fit 25, he said. So he was absolutely fit. I think it's a very difficult question between fighter and writer. Which role you should fit in? I think you fit in both the roles.
All right, sir.
Because you do it with a gusto. You're so committed. Once you get into your role, you just get under the skin or whatever. So I think the choice will be yours.
So I can ask you, sir, one thing. If you would have caught this man alive, what would have been 2 questions you would have asked him, sir?
Oh, I might have had to salute him later, because we don't know where he would have reached. Lucky it didn't happen. Lucky it didn't happen. It was not as if he shut the window of opportunity. It was a very slim window of opportunity, which was indeed given. Under the law, under the 100 IPC, a man who is on this side aisle of protection is allowed to use the weapon in extreme situations, and this was one. And we had lost about 124 known and about 50, 60 unknown. A lot of skeletons were dug up. We could not trace it back to him. So which a deadly and dangerous man who can elude. If you see the last ambush, it was like a perfect ambush. Even I didn't imagine it's going to be so perfect. The whole, everything, including Providence and all the other forces were working in our favor. There were a couple of interruptions on that fateful night between 10:15 to 10:30. A lot of things were happening. But around 10:48, 49, things completely turned to our favor, and every minute was in our favor. We fired 338 bullets, which is about 10 times of what he fired. But you can't go by this ratio and say that we inflicted disproportionate damage. It was something very legitimate and which is due. I really wonder whether he would have allowed us to capture him alive. He denied himself the opportunity when his number 2 opened the first fire, who was having an AK-47. His number 2 is called Settukudi Govindan, who would have been deadlier than Veerappan had he survived, because he was groomed that way and he was becoming very powerful. So Veerappan did not open the first fire. It was Govindan who opened the AK-47, because we guessed it from where the bullets came. It was coming from the rear, and there was a side seat and he was facing our side. But our ambush for once was absolutely perfect, and we were very, very lucky. So that's why I infinitely thank the other powers, superior powers and Providence, because in police work is a very hazardous thing. Many ifs and buts are there, and that's why I have a very special affiliation, not just because I belong to the tribe myself, because I understand they are the guys like the fighter pilots, they are the guys like the stand-up comedian. This is what exactly I told in another interview. They are the guys like radio jockey who have to be thinking fast on the feet, and these guys are really facing danger. So I have a special affiliation for my folks. I'm a little tribal in that sense, if you don't mind. Therefore, that opportunity was given to the extent it was required. But second time when the fusillade came from inside, we said, that's it. And Kannan was orchestrating, I was just indicating. So we went whole hog. Otherwise, it would have been, if he had lifted his hand in the first opportunity given, possibly what you just surmised could have happened.
Well, I had these questions. I would like, if anybody else would like to ask him one question. Anybody would want to ask him? Yeah. Somebody can give him a mic.
Good evening, sir. I'm your trainee in the academy, sir. And sir has just said that you are fighting to be a writer, sir. What is the next project sir is working on, sir? Can we expect a fiction novel or something on the Kashmir days or something on Chennai Commissioner days, sir?
One thing at a time and that done well. So Mr. Kapish is saying that it's going well. Let it go fully well. Let it finish the thing. And all of you reached to the book and all of you rate me. And some of you can rate me as single star also. One of them said it's all cooked up. Another 1 star, not many, fortunately not many 1 stars, couple of them. Another said hogwash. I welcome that. In case I couldn't figure out who the guy was, I would have reached out to him very warmly because it is in my nature to walk into the enemy's den also. And if possible, extend a hand of friendship. But if it's denied, then counter it in a different way. But, most of you have been very generous. You continue to grade me generously as ever. And I will think of, there are 3-4 things in my mind, but if I start getting distracted, my current mission will be incomplete. So let the mission be accomplished and then we will by and by get into the next one. But there are so many thoughts going on, like 20 movies are going on in my mind.
Right. Well, thank you, sir. That was more than enough for me to know about it. And it's been a pleasure being here, sir.
It's been a great pleasure getting to know you, Mr. Akshay. I thank Siva who put me to Prasanna and also Mr. Vishwas Patel. Whether he's here, I'm not too sure. So I'm very happy that I was able to meet you. If I had another chance to get back into the jungle, I will rely on you as my buddy. So all of them, the cops who are sitting in front row, and you are fluently fitting in. Absolutely. So let me ask you a counter question.
Yes, sir, please, I'm
in
ready.
In case I have
I'm
to
all
ask
set.
you, if it's permitted, Kapish, in case I ask you, because if I ask you how are you keeping yourself fit, you will give me a 2-hour formula, which is not possible for the police guys because they are very busy 24/7. So what is the most condensed form of exercise? Very 1-minute drill or something very small, very condensed. Can you think of something?
Well, the 1-minute thing I would just say is I believe in one thing which is very important. If possible, it can happen. And I know because of the hours of duty the police guys have, it becomes a little bit not impossible, but it can be, but it becomes difficult. Is the fact that if everybody starts eating their dinner before 6:30 and finish it off, life would be so set. You will actually trust me and believe me, the body will react so well to you, and your age will come down at least 10 years younger. This is what I believed in, and this is हमारे शास्त्रों में भी यही लिखा हुआ है कि अगर 6:30 से पहले आप लोग खाना खा लो सूर्यास्त से पहले, तो आपकी ज़िंदगी काफ़ी से ज़्यादा सुधर सकती है. So that I would just give it small advice.
So guys, watch out. Our SOP, that is police standing order, I used to call it police sleeping order, says snatch your sleep because it's not often given to you. Nobody offers to you. Whenever you get it, snatch it. So we normally sleep around afternoon because our second part of the day begins again. 6 o'clock comes in between the peak time for you. So better put the SOP, revise it and tell your goons to keep you free at 6 o'clock and try to have an early meal. But there's a lot of science behind what he says. I recently read the guys who are going very, very late to sleep, the liver function is supposed to be at its peak at a certain time. And at 3 to 4, you're going to penalize and have a food only 2 hours before the liver is not going to respond. But of course, there are exceptions. There are deadly guys who are nocturnal. I have mentioned a couple of fellows in my book also. There are absolute owls. But to be a lark is a better thing, I guess. Yeah. You are a lark. One day I WhatsApped you and you are replying. I thought the reply will come around 9 o'clock. He was replying at 5:30 and was already on his way to somewhere. He said he's going for his...
I was doing my dubbing.
Tell me one more, last question, sir. Chief guest, sir, last question for my side. You're in a very interesting field where you've got the whole team, you orchestrated and everybody working for. So sometimes you reach success even when you had not anticipated something will be a hit. Even when you have not anticipated so much, something will become a big flash and big hit. Sometimes when you have planned and you thought it's going to be a deadly hit, it may not reach there. So how do you cope?
Well, coping, say I have done about 130 films by now, and this it's become a part of my life. Lot of times, even when I look at a movie in a trial or something and I see, I think this is going to work, and it doesn't. all I can say is it gives me motivation to work more harder and to go ahead and try and do something more spectacular and make it an event out of it or something like that. So, but the whole idea is to work more harder and harder in this film industry. So that's the only way.
Also, you are being so humble when you're at the peak of success is also something which made me look at you as a kind of role model in that sense. I have multiple role models, and in that sense I admire you. When I went to Sukma, where we lost 12 CRP constables, you are one of the first to offer something, 9 lakhs or 10 lakhs for each of the constables. Sometimes he doesn't publicize what he's doing. I was touched. Then you did something for the cancer patients, and that's why my special admiration, very, very special admiration for you. You may not like this being told by me, but I indeed, my special affinity or affection for you started with that.
Thank you.
Apart from your other reliable, solid qualities and the perpetual smile. Keep it up. Wonderful to be with you, and thank you, Akshay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I want to acknowledge and thank everybody who is here. Hemant, Kumar, Dava, Mr. Commodore Jha, Kapish, and your whole team, and Ganesh Kolegal, and Chief Guest, and all of, and you, Satish, my dear colleague, and Pachalgika, for being with me, and every one of you who have responded. It's wonderful to be in the midst of all of you. Thank you for your support. Just 1 minute. So let's have some kind of an understanding, not just 2-3 questions. And then you should not again go to the next man. 2-3 questions. Okay.
आपने इस आज बुक को लॉन्च किया है, आपने कुछ बुक भी पढ़ी होगी। आपकी पहली प्रतिक्रिया, और आपने कहा था कि इनको आपने लेजेंड के नाम पर आपने अपने मोबाइल में स्टोर किया है, तो उसकी वजह
ये है कि ये इस किताब के अंदर ही आपको सारी वजह मिल जाएगी कि इन्होंने क्या क्या कर दिया है, और किताब के अंदर जो किया वो तो एक इनके ज़िंदगी का एक बहुत छोटा हिस्सा है, और भी इन्होंने कितनी कितनी चीज़ें की हैं मैं जानता हूँ, अभी तक ज़्यादा कोई लोग जानते नहीं हैं, लेकिन वैसे भी अगर आप इनको गूगल में भी चले जाएंगे, इनके बारे में पढ़ेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि इनको लेजेंड क्यों कहा जाता है।
जैसे सर ने कहा था, एक ही सवाल है, सर ने कहा था कि अगर इस फिल्म में अगर आपको मौका मिले तो आप कौन से रोल में देखना चाहेंगे?
So, I would love to play him, and because the whole planning, the whole mastermind, the whole how the things has to be done, and I don't know, sir बता सकते हैं कि वीरप्पन कौन खेलेगा? सर आप ही बताइए।
We'll have to figure out. We have to chase another brigand and get hold of somebody. One more last question and we'll stop. Any other question?
सर आपसे सवाल ये है कि ये पूरी जो आपने किताब लिखी है, आपके बारे में जो कहा गया, पढ़ा गया, इस किताब में वो सारांश करके आपने रखा है, कैसा फील हो रहा है कि सारे आपके IPS ऑफिसर्स फ्रेंड आए?
No, I feel very proud as a part of the member of this community that I had many opportunities working with many officers and I was able to build a strong team. It was about a team's work and I'm very immensely pleased to attribute it to the team. This attribution is to the late Dr. Jayalalitha because she was a great support to us, and also to all the security forces, search team. That is how we are dedicated.
Thanks. सर इंडियन आर्मी से रिलेटेड आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा।
चलो अभी सर
आप आर्मी के बारे में हमेशा बात करते हैं,
इसके बारे में
में